Okay.
Okay.
We're going to talk about Kingdom Hearts.
Kingdom Hearts is confusing.
It's really confusing.
Kingdom Hearts has probably the most confusing story after Metal Gear.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, yeah.
So since Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to come out, I decided let's do a podcast where we try to recount everything chronologically but drunk.
Because sober we would just kind of get mad.
Sober we get too mad.
And anytime we mention Aqua, we'd start to cry.
So Brass is here. He's sober and he can...
He's going to keep us on track.
Yeah.
Because we have a tendency to wander because there's a lot of threads that happen in tandem with this.
I will attempt to. Keyword is attempt.
All right. Well.
So the thing is that Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 were the first, 1 Chain of Memories and 2 were the first chronological ones.
But at the same time, 3 games take place between 1 and 2.
Yes. And then stuff happens before 1. So
Although, mercifully, nothing happens after 2 yet. So that's nice.
Well, yet.
No, I think...
Well, a little bit have happened after 2.
Do you know this is?
Oh, right. I forgot about 3D.
Okay. But the whole thing starts with Kingdom Hearts Kai, which is a PC free-to-play game.
Which are the best words ever.
And it was long ago in a place called the Realm of Light, which is, I guess, the era of light.
The world.
Everyone had Keyblades, which are an artificial recreation of a thing called the Kai Blade, which is like the ultimate weapon.
Some kind of ultimate power.
And then a guy called the Master of Masters got a book, and he gave them to 5 apprentices who became the Foretellers. And from what I understand, when you start this game up, you become one of the 5 factions. Like you can
like an apprentice of one of the 5
Yeah.
foretellers.
Back then, everyone was tween-animated and looked like a fucking Flash character.
Ooh.
So the Master of Masters said this book is gonna like mess everyone up, and the last page of it has been torn out and is only privy to 1 person.
He's straight up like, hey, I've got this book that has like all the events of all the future. Except for 1 page. Hope y'all don't get any fights over what might happen on the last page. Spoiler alert, they get into fights over what might happen on that last page.
But the one thing that the Master Masters likes to say is, may our hearts be our guiding keys, or something like that.
Which is a really, really kind of cute Kingdom Heartsy style catchphrase that has apparently been a thing that everyone says for all time, except for the fact that they only started saying it after this game was made, and it was well after Kingdom Hearts 2 was made.
So, unfortunately, all of these people called the Foretellers and their factions, they disagreed, and they got into what's called the Keyblade War. And this was particularly destructive because Keyblades are strong as shit. They can unlock doors, they can lock doors, they have all sorts of magical powers.
Yeah, like there's fucking, there's 4 of them in the main series? For the most part, there's only like 2 at a time, and they overtake like several armies each.
But history is lost because this Keyblade War happens and it makes the Keyblade graveyard.
Which is that thing that you see in all the trailers for Kingdom Hearts 2 and Birth by Sleep, where there's just like a big field of key swords stabbed into the ground.
And the only survivor, one of the only survivors, is Xehanort, because his Keyblade is definitely one of the factions.
Xehanort, who is voiced by Spock.
Alright, so I learned something right now, and that's that Xehanort is a survivor of the Keyblade War. That's really cool. Anyways.
Yeah, Xehanort is a bald old man
who's
voiced by Spock.
With elf ears.
With elf ears. Can you do a Spock voice?
I am not able to do a Leonard Nimoy, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
It doesn't sound like Leonard Nimoy, just
So some people, like
I will get the Keyblade.
The other people in the war tried to make new foretellers via a list of potential people, but nobody really succeeded. But they figured out that a kid named Ventus would be able to read the book.
He'd be able to find out what was on the last page.
And nobody knew where this Ventus guy came from, but he was an apprentice of Master Xehanort Spock. So that's where Kingdom Hearts Kai ends. That's the first game. That's the first game chronologically. in terms of like release date, it's like the 5th one.
It's like the 8th one, actually.
Yeah,
the
it's
eighth
more than 5 for sure. Also, let's be honest, in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter at all, except for explaining what the Keyblade War, which what it was doesn't really matter. It was a calamity that happened that wiped history. So, let's go to Birth by Sleep, my least favorite game.
So Birth by Sleep was a PS Vita game. And
Aren't those great words? Was a PS Vita game. There was
And
one good PS Vita game. It wasn't this one.
it was Uncharted Golden Abyss.
No, it was Monster Hunter 3rd Portable.
Oh, right. Let's touch my Katamari. Don't snarf your beer. So Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep starts with Master Erquist, and he is voiced by Mark Hamill.
Imagine the most samurai that ever samurai'd a samurai, and you have Master Erquist.
And then he has 3 apprentices, which are Ventus, Terra, and Aqua.
Their names mean wind, earth, and sky, or wind, earth, and water.
Ventus is a little blonde boy voiced by Jesse McCartney, and then Terra is like a big brooding like bad boy
Who looks a lot like Zack from Final Fantasy VII.
and then Aqua's a thin
A pretty blue-haired anime girl.
yeah
Who dresses like a pop idol, actually, now that I think about it.
like Yuna and like Final Fantasy X2.
Also, she's the only character in the entire series who does everything right, but only gets fucked.
We'll get into it. So Ventus, they're gonna do what's called like a Mark of Master exam, which makes you like a Keyblade Master.
Yeah, it's the rite of passage from apprentice to master. Bottom line is your teacher decides, I have a list of things that you need to do, go do them. And it's never really made clear what exactly...
It seems to vary from
Yeah,
person
like
to
every
person.
master has like a different version of this, and there's no common
I'm
threads.
so sorry.
It's actually like the tutorial of the game too, where if you play as Aqua or Terra, it's like, you know, you fight each other and then Xehanort's literally like, or you fight each other and then you fight off little floaty orb things, and then like after you do like after you fucking master the basic controls, like you see Xehanort stick his head out from the curtain. He's like, and he makes like an evil bubbles appear, and then they start like attacking. They go out of control, and then
Great. Regardless.
Ventus too young to do the Mark of Mastery exam.
So like, sit on the sidelines, boy.
And then Aqua does it and passes. Terra does it and fails.
Because Terra is a dumb, but Aqua is great.
what happens is that it's like Aqua handles it like calmly and stuff, but Terra like loses his shit and like summons the he gets angry because anger leads to hatred. Blah blah blah.
Hate leads to the dark side.
That's kind of exactly what it goes.
Okay. Bottom line is the dark in Terra's heart's too strong, and he can't keep them in balance.
He's an angry boy.
So, Master Xehanort, against Spock, he's like, hey Terra, you should learn dark powers, because darkness is cool, and he has a particular fascination with the darkness in people's hearts. So hearts are like your physical magical manifestation of your soul, basically.
It's like actually a giant glowy heart that can physically be removed from you,
So,
but it contains like all the essence of your being.
but which includes both darkness and light, and Master Xehanort is particularly interested in darkness.
Whereas Master Erquist is particularly interested in light. And, oh no, they have conflicting goals.
So Xehanort's like, Terra, since you failed your Mark of Master exam, you should look into dark powers. And then, like, from what I understand, Ventus is like, I can do things. like
the other two go off because they
well, Aqua has to go fix shit.
no, because those two go off because they hear it's like the unversed are attacking the other worlds. But then like Ventus and Aqua are picking up that Terra's like
Turning evil.
Kinda emo.
But like everyone tells Ventus like fucking stay at home, and it's like I can do things.
Ventus, spoiler, you should have stayed at home.
So Master Xehanort wants the Kai blade, but it can summon Kingdom Hearts, but only if a being of pure light and pure darkness clash.
And Kingdom Hearts is the physical place that hearts go when they leave the vessel.
So Master Xehanort splits Ventus in two with his heart.
Yeah.
To make a being of pure heart,
Yeah.
light, and darkness.
He splits Ventus into Ventus and Vanitas.
So Ventus is a good, like all the good in his person but he's like shitty at fighting.
Look, here's the thing, fucking Xehanort picks up Ventus because like I could make this guy my apprentice so he can be my vessel of pure evil, and then Ventus is so pathetic that he gets his ass destroyed by fucking whatever the fuck he sticks on him. So he's like, "You fucking idiot, I'm going to fix you up."
Oh, okay. So he like grievously injures himself.
Yeah.
He picks up this poor kid and he's like, you're gonna do some good evil today. And then Ventus is like, I'm too weak to do the evil, and fucking dies. So
But then that makes Vanitas, right?
Yeah.
Like when he fixes him.
He fixes him by splitting the fucking light side of him right out. He just surgically removes the good in his heart, and then he becomes Vanitas. And Vanitas looks like this guy who shows up in a later game who may or may not be important. I don't know.
So while that's happening, Xehanort takes over Terra's body because he's getting old, and he's like, I need to live forever. I'll take over this like ripped 20-year-old.
Yeah, so he picks a fight with this fucking buff guy and gets the shit kicked out of him.
But then he takes over Terra's body.
That was all according to plan.
Yeah.
So like Terra's feeling all great. He's like, I beat the shit out of the big bad guy. Look at me, how great I am. And then Xehanort like creeps up behind him like fucking Dick Dastardly, and he's like, psych, your body's mine.
So they clash, and then at the same time, Ventus is basically like.
He's getting into a fight with Vanitas at the time.
Ventus fights Vanitas, and
No, it's like in his own like fucking personal mind or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, he fights him inside himself?
You actually fight him in like the fucking Destati fucking.
Oh, God.
Stained.
But we'll
glass.
get into what that is later.
Yeah.
So what
He fights him in his own heart.
So what happens in all this is that when Terra Xehanort clash, he loses it. Like Terra and Xehanort become one entity, become called Terra Xehanort. Unfortunately, when they clash, Terra Xehanort lost his memory. He just thinks he's a guy named Xehanort. He doesn't remember the Terra part.
He doesn't remember the Xehanort part.
He doesn't remember the Spock part.
He's like, I'm a dude and my name is Xehanort. Meanwhile, Terra's heart kind of got forcibly removed from his body so that Xehanort could be there. And we're going to have to take a segue here. We're going to go back and we're going to discuss the Realm of Light and the Realm of Dark. And
because this all happens in the Realm of Darkness.
Does it?
I think so.
No.
I don't think so.
No, this all takes place in the Realm of Light because all living things inhabit the Realm of Light. The Realm of Light is just where shit lives. And the Realm of Dark is kind of empty for the most part right now. There's some stuff there later, but not at the moment. And you can't really move through the Realm of Dark. If you end up in the Realm of Dark, you are fucked. You're just there now, and time doesn't exist, and space barely exists, and I guess you're the only thing that really exists. But Keyblade Apprentices and Keyblade Masters have this special stuff. It's a special armor called Keyblade Armors. Isn't that creative?
Yeah.
And it looks really cool because Nomura wanted to design Batman. So all the three Chuckleheads have their Keyblade armor, which lets them move through the Realm of Dark and the Realm of Light.
On sweet hover bikes.
Yes. And so Terra, his heart got kicked out of his body. And Xehanort's chilling in there now, and he turns his hair white because he really liked the year 2000 and silver's a cool color.
And he does this cool like anthem thing. He's like, every heart returned to darkness whence it came. Such is its nature.
So he has really silly.
He has cool monologues.
Yeah.
So when he takes over Terra's body, Terra's armor kind of falls off because he's not Terra anymore, so he can't use Terra's armor. And Terra's heart fucking possesses his broke-ass armor and turns into a pissed-off fucking poltergeist.
He's so mad he fights back from the death.
Yeah, his soul is so pissed off that he lost his body that he fucking possesses his dead-ass armor and kicks the shit out of Terra Xehanort from beyond the grave.
You get to play as the armor.
And then his armor just kind of chills in this graveyard for the rest of eternity, being pissed off.
But they're trapped in the Realm of Darkness.
Wow. Doesn't the armor kind of throws him into the Realm of Darkness, doesn't it?
No.
How does he end up in the Realm of Darkness? That's where I'm kind of hazy.
Like,
Xehanort.
Terra
Terra
Xehanort
Xehanort ends up in the Realm of Darkness.
Yeah, it like, because there's like the big fucking Kingdom Hearts moon overhead, and it like sucks, like fucking Terra kicks the shit out of him, and it like makes him float up. He's like,
So he gets kicked into the Realm of Darkness.
But it only transports him away because he wakes up like later on in fucking Radiant Garden.
But the
No, we know why that is though.
yeah.
So he gets thrown in the Terra Xehanort armor. Terra armor throws Xehanort into the fucking realm of darkness,
Right.
and he's like, "Oh fuck, now I'm stuck here." So, meanwhile, Ventus and Vanitas are having their weird clash session, and during that, Vent's war with his own heart essentially lobotomizes him.
Yeah.
His heart goes to sleep inside him, so he's just in a coma now.
When we mean sleeping, it means it just basically just deactivates.
Yeah, his heart just shut itself off because it couldn't handle fighting itself. So Ven just passes out, and now he's like this little ragdoll baby boy. And Aqua's like, I can't really leave my bro here lobotomized in the middle of this desert, so I'm gonna be the best character and just turn my dead boss's house into a sweet castle that is also a maze that you can only unlock by losing your own memories.
And she puts Ventus's comatose body in it.
In this one room called the Chamber of Awakening.
Super fucking deep.
However, at the same time, Ventus's wounded heart reaches out, and his call is answered
By this fucking baby.
by a baby.
No, it's by the same baby that helped him out before.
Which we didn't mention. Which we should probably actually go back and discuss.
Yeah, when Xehanort fucking fucked up his like training as an apprentice, he was like, his heart was shattered, and the light side of him was actually about to die, and then it was like, he was like floating in darkness, like, oh,
And this baby was like,
Hey, I'm a strong heart, but you're a shitty
like,
heart.
I'll help you.
And
So-
this baby is just like, fucking glue your heart to mine and we'll be okay. And Vent was like, is that really gonna work? The baby's like, shut up, we're doing it.
So this baby ends up being a boy named Sora, but we'll talk about him later.
That was
And-
him being born at that moment.
Yeah, no, he was literally born at the moment that Vent's heart was fractured into Vent and Vanitas. So he just like was so cool that he gravitated Vent in, and they were like, we're gonna be best friends forever, whether you like it or not.
But Vent's body is still in a comatose state.
No, that hasn't happened yet. This is back when he got fractured to begin with.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now, cut back to the rest of what we talked about. So Sora takes Vent's heart and fucking repairs him. And now here's where I get a bit confused, because Vent and Vanitas are physically different people at this point, right?
Yes.
Like, Vanitas is still a thing which exists.
Vanitas is like...
He's a dude
Yeah, he's a
who looks exactly like Sora, by the way.
He looks like Sora because he's like an evil mirror. He's like an evil mirror projection of like his future self or some fucking horseshit.
He's like a weird evil mirror of Ventus, but since Ventus is now intertwined with Sora,
He looks like
he
Sora.
looks like Sora. Whereas later on, Sora will get split, and when Sora gets split, he looks like fucking Ventus.
I'm out of
But
here.
that's later. Anyways, so Ventus binds with Sora, blah blah blah. They get into a fight with Xehanort. Vanitas and Ventus get into a fight inside their own hearts. Vent falls into a coma. Aqua creates Castle Oblivion and goes into this weird.
Aqua gives her armor to Terra Xehanort.
Fucking calm down. Fucking calm down for a second.
Yeah.
Castle Oblivion puts Ventus in the Chamber of Awakening and is like, I'm gonna come back, and because I'm the only person who knows what they're fucking doing in this town, I'll reawaken your heart. Just be unconscious for a bit, okay? And then leaves. And then she goes and she's like, fucking my other best friend is now a disembodied suit of armor, but he threw his own body into the realm of darkness and he's trapped there. So she goes into the realm of darkness and she sees fucking Terra Xehanort unconscious in there being all trapped and shit, and she's like, I gotta do something about this. So here comes the only part in the entire series where Aqua makes a mistake. Aqua takes off her Keyblade armor and gives it to Terra Xehanort, who then pieces the fuck out. So now...
Well, no, he's unconscious.
Yeah.
She literally like attaches the armor to him,
And,
or,
like,
in like its fucking like speeder form and shoots him
and like
off.
shoves him out of the realm of
Yeah.
darkness.
And she's like, well, bye. Okay.
And
Hashtag word.
And now we're done with Aqua. She gets to spend the rest of the series lost in the realm of darkness, being the only competent character in the series, except for maybe Mickey fucking Mouse.
So, this is when Kingdom Hearts 1 happens.
No.
What?
This isn't where Kingdom Hearts 1 happens. There's something in between this, isn't there?
No,
Kind of.
not really. What?
It's like that. Then Xehanort is found by. Or is it,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, some Kingdom Hearts 2 backstory happens here.
I have that written down.
Where there's a guy, and he's a really cool guy. His name is Ansem the Wise. And he's voiced by Christopher Lee.
It's been too long, my friend.
And he's just,
Except not anymore.
yeah, because Christopher Lee's dead now, and that's probably one of the greatest tragedies of all time. So anyways, Christopher Lee Ansem has these 6 boy band members that work for him. And their names don't really matter right now.
But Christopher Lee is researching the heart. Light side, dark side, doesn't matter. He's researching.
He's just doing some sweet research into the heart.
And his home is the Radiant Garden.
But then he finds this guy who is Xehanort, who is Terra Xehanort, who lost his memory.
And he literally just appears in the fucking square, like.
Yeah. He just fucking shows up in the middle of town like, who am I? What is this?
And I'm just like, who is this?
Who is this handsome boy band man? I must recruit him for my dank boy band.
So Ansem the Wise, who is voiced by Christopher Lee, and is like, he has long blonde hair and a goatee. He recruits Xehanort, and he's like, well, I want to research the heart because I may be able to
Unlock your sleeping memories.
Your sleeping memories.
Because, like, okay, so this is like a weird fan canon theory, but like there are no internal organs in Kingdom Hearts. There's no like liver, spleen, stomach, brain. It's all the heart. If you cut someone open, all that's there is the fucking heart. Like your brain, it's your heart. If you get sick, it's your heart. Everything is your heart. That's all that matters.
Like, maybe, actually.
You see, like... So he's lost his memories, so obviously it's something to do with the heart. So he's like, I will unlock the dormant memories within your heart.
But then Xehanort, who is Terra Xehanort with no memories, he's like strong as shit, and he starts researching into the dark part because he's still...
Yeah, he's like subconsciously still fucking super evil.
And then Ansem the Wise is like, fuck this, and he fucking dips.
Bro, what you're doing is not hella dank. My boy band will have no part of this. But then the boy band's like...
Well, the boy band didn't do it.
He's kind of cool. And
The
they
boy
just
band
like...
didn't do it willingly. He stabbed
Did
a
he?
lot of them.
Oh,
Yeah.
he just fucking
He
shanked...
just killed.
Oh.
So he kills some of the boy band, which are called like Bragg, Dylan,
Issa.
No, that's the
Alias.
Leah.
That's actually the really weird part. In Birth by Sleep, you go to the Radiant Garden and you hang out with like the guys as all 3 characters, and even back then, Bragg, who Bragg is like, he's like a mercenary, so he's
He's
a
the
little
douchebag with the sniper rifles.
He's a douchebag then.
He was always a douchebag.
He actually works with Xehanort to be like.
So some of them are assholes, some of them are not, but Ansem pretty much decides that he really doesn't like Xehanort's methods. So he just
leaves.
He just fucks right off. And slowly but surely the boy band starts helping Xehanort, whether willingly or not. Now we get into some of the complicated shit. Yeah, no, it wasn't complicated yet. This is where it gets complicated. Turns out, when you forcibly remove the heart from someone, which Keyblades have the power to do, they become a Heartless. The heart becomes its own dark entity called a Heartless. And the Heartless are just...
They're just monsters.
Yeah, they're essentially just reanimated monsters born from removed hearts. There are 2 types of Heartless. There are what are called Pureblood Heartless, which is the heart physically removed from someone, or... Emblem Heartless, which are synthetically created, which is when the heart is removed by unnatural means. And, like, natural Heartless are, like, little shadow, like, bunny dudes, or, like, strong ones are really spooky bunny dudes, or really, really strong ones are planet-sized buff men with heart-shaped cutouts in their chest that throw stars at you. But, I mean, that's enough of that.
So... Xehanort, after Ansem leaves, takes on Ansem the Wise's name.
Yeah, he just fucking decides to call himself Ansem. He's like, Xehanort's a mouthful. I'm gonna be Ansem now.
Because I hate Ansem, because he opposed me.
So I'm gonna be a dick and be Ansem and drag his name through the mud.
But then he kills Ansem's little boy band.
Not exactly.
Sort of.
He removes their hearts one by one, and they become, they go off and become fucking heartlesses. But turns out, when you remove the heart of a particularly strong entity, its body remains as what's called a nobody. And nobodies, for the most part, strong nobodies, retain the shape of their original host. So
they have no emotions.
Yeah, they have no hearts. So they're essentially just like reanimated husks. They can think and they can act, but they cannot feel.
They think they can, but they can't.
Yeah, that's the weird part. Like, well, it's not that they think they can, it's that
They remember they can.
they remember they could, but they don't remember what that feels like. So they know that feeling is a thing that they once did, but they don't know what that is. So, like, imagine back to when you were, I'm going to just put an age out here, and some of you are going to judge me either way. Imagine you're 15 and you don't know what it's like to have sex, right? And it's like, oh, that must be, like, the best thing ever. And then you go and you drunkenly lose your virginity and you're like, fuck, I wish I hadn't done that. That's kind of what nobodies are, but with literally everything in their entire life.
Nice, dude.
Yeah, man.
I know how that happened, too.
Shut up.
Anyways. So they created an organization, but it doesn't have a name at this point.
Yeah, so Ansem and his boy band create an organization of nobodies.
Pause that. Kingdom Hearts 1 happens.
Yeah. Small aside,
What?
Ansem Zane. Okay. This is gonna. Okay, so
This is where it gets confusing.
this is gonna get really confusing because 4 characters have the exact same name. So Ansem the Wise,
Who's Christopher Lee?
he's gonna be referred to from this point on as Diz, because later on he's gonna take the name Diz for himself and he's just gonna be Diz. So anytime we say Diz, we're talking about the original Ansem the Wise.
Who's Christopher Lee?
Who's Christopher Lee? You'll tell because I'll start talking like this whenever he's around. So then there's Terra Xehanort, who takes the name Ansem. And we're going to start calling him Xemnas.
Because that's the name he takes for himself.
Because he removes his own heart and becomes a heartless and a nobody. And his nobody sticks around and keeps doing the same shit that he did when he was an apprentice. So we're going to call him Xemnas, because that's what he calls himself. Because when he makes his organization, all of the boy band members rearrange their name and put an X somewhere in there because they're cool, like Sayx or...
Pigeon, did you know fucking Xehanort is an anagram of no heart with an X in it?
But that has nothing to do with this, but also it's really confusing. That's going to be a discussion for the end of this. Shut up. Okay, so Xemnas is the nobody of Terra Xehanort who removed his own heart in his weird experiments. And he's the leader of Organization 13, which comes up later.
And he talks all fucking weird.
He's emo and depressing.
Kingdom Hearts.
And he's voiced by Billy Zane in the first... No, he's not voiced by Billy
No.
Zane. That's someone else.
Yeah.
Indeed.
He's very depressed, and he wears a big black coat, and he looks very emo, and his hands turn into lasers in the final boss fight, and it's really great. So then, the last one, we're gonna call him Ansem.
But he's not.
He's not. Okay, so
Either of
he's not either of them. Okay, so the character that we're going to call Ansem is the Heartless that is created when Xemnas removed his own heart.
And that guy is voiced by Billy Zane.
That is Billy Zane.
In the end, every heart returns to the darkness whence it came.
So we'll call him Billy Zane.
No, we're just gonna call him Ansem. He's the main villain of Kingdom Hearts 1. And he's the big bad. He does all the bad stuff in Kingdom Hearts 1. And him and another character get really close at a point. It's really weird. But whenever we say Ansem from now on, we're not talking about Christopher Lee Ansem the Wise. We're not talking about spooky emo Xemnas. Ansem is...
Billy Zane.
Yeah, he's a weird leather-clad David
Dark
Bowie
skin.
guy with... Like, imagine if Terra took his hair and decided, I really wish I looked like a shark. That's not going to make sense to anyone who hasn't played Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, but I mean...
I don't care.
So
this is when Kingdom Hearts 1 happens.
Yeah, Kingdom Hearts 1 starts right now.
I've been having these weird thoughts lately. Like, is any of this for real? Or not?
So it starts on this place called Destiny Islands with 3 friends named Sora, Riku, and Kairi, which means sky, land, and sea.
Get it? Get it?
Sora is a very nice boy, and he has a dream where he dives into his own heart. There he sees stained glass windows of princesses, Disney princesses, like Snow White, Sleeping Beauty.
Beauty and the Beast.
And there he kind of figures himself out by a weird disembodied voice, which we didn't know at the time, but is actually Ventus.
Which, when Ventus's heart was fractured and he reached out, there was a weird disembodied voice talking to him that was Sora. So they have these weird disembodied voices talking to each other, because their hearts are now connected.
So Sora dives into his own heart and figures stuff out about himself that ends up being the game's tutorial, but it's really cool.
It's really, really poetic, and it's got this amazing soundtrack, and it's all like big black empty spaces with these stained glass platforms, and it looks really cool. If you haven't played Kingdom Hearts 1, it's beautiful, and you're dumb, you should play it.
And it ends with the voice saying the door has been opened, and you don't know what that means. So Sora wakes up and he meets up with Kairi and Riku, and then there's also Final Fantasy X and 8 characters there. There's Tidus, Waka, and
Selfie.
And
And they're just 3
They're
schmuckheads.
just there.
They're like 10-year-old children who live on this island, and they're like, we're gonna, fight with the skipping ropes and the baseball bats, and we're dueling to become the best, and like, they don't matter at all.
so
Really good to farm EXP off.
Yeah. Small aside, fun fact, a guy recently reached level 100 in Kingdom Hearts 1, farming only those 3 idiots in the tutorial level.
Ew.
I believe it took him 215 hours, if I'm not mistaken.
Why?
Because. Also, he streamed it, and good for him. That's really cool.
So Sora goes back to his friends. There's Kairi, who's the girl. She is the least developed character of the 3.
And unlike Aqua, she sucks.
And then Riku is like the bad boy. He's like a guy. He has silver hair and like really weird fishing waders. And he's like, I want to know what's out past our island, so let's build a raft and sail away from here.
And Sora has never had an original thought in his life, so he's like, that's a great idea. And Kairi's like, I'm bored, I'll do what the boys are doing.
So you build this raft and you get supplies for it, and then when you're naming the raft, you get into like a friendly competition with Riku. So you have like a race, and Riku's like, whoever wins can share a Paupu fruit with Kairi.
So that's not really actually that important.
No,
but
but
what it means, a Paupu fruit is a fruit that, and there's a legend, like if you share a Paupu fruit with someone, your hearts will be connected forever. And I mean, it's not actually true per se.
It's an important story.
It's an important story beat, but in the grand scheme of Kingdom Hearts, it doesn't actually matter.
You have a gray patch in your beard.
I have
I'm very jealous of that.
I have many gray patches in my beard.
You're very daddy.
Anyway, so Riku's like, oh, we'll share a Paupu fruit, and then Sora's like, what?
That's not fair.
And then Riku's like, just kidding, let's name the raft whoever wins the race. So
And Sora gets really, really evidently flustered by this, but Riku just kind of dismisses it.
So, Sora and Kairi have like a secret cave on the island where they go in there and they make drawings on the rocks by carving it with other rocks. And in there is like a door. Like it's just
like a door with no handle.
Yeah.
And no one thought this was weird.
No one thought this was weird. They didn't question the door.
It's a spooky
they
cave,
they
so-
call this cave the secret place, despite the fact that it's literally just like a small alcove in the middle of this like
Island.
3-room island. But apparently no one knows it's there, but Sora and Kairi.
So the day they're supposed to set off on the raft, a hole opens up in the sky after Ventus says the door has been opened. And that's actually the door has been opened by Ansem, Billy Zane. He opened all the doors, so that means Heartless, which are the little scuttling monsters, are invading Destiny Island. But at the same time, Kyrie's in like the cave, like that little secret place, and she gets hit with a wave of darkness and falls into Sora and vanishes.
Yeah, her heart fucking falls out of her body, and like Sora has this weird vision of her like falling forward, and he tries to catch her, but she disappears.
And you're not supposed to think anything of it.
Yeah,
But it's actually super important.
But at the same time,
Jesus Christ!
don't hit the wall. At the same time, in a completely different land called Disney Castle, the king, who is Mickey Mouse, leaves on a quest to find what's called the Kingdom Key of Darkness. But he doesn't tell his royal wizard or his head knight that, who are Donald and Goofy respectively.
Now this is when Kingdom Hearts 0.2, a fragmentary... No, it's Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep 0.2, a fragmentary passage, which is fucking 10 words long, which we're going to refer to as Kingdom Hearts 10 words from now on.
That's when that starts.
It starts about here, and it's Mickey Mouse, who is an apprentice of Keyblade Master Yensid, who is the wizard from Fantasia. Mickey Mouse goes on his Mark of Mastery and passes.
But he goes into the realm of dark and finds Aqua. We'll pause that there. That's all he does
Yeah.
at this point in
He
time.
goes and he finds Aqua, and they have a grand old time.
He leaves a note for Donald and Goofy saying, you have to find the key. You'll find it probably in Traverse Town.
Mm-hmm.
So all the worlds in Kingdom Hearts 1... okay, I'll back that up slightly. Sora
goes to the raft because he's like, fuck, my island's getting eaten. The only way we can escape is if the three of us get on our raft and swim away, because he's a very small-minded boy and he doesn't understand what's going on.
And then
Rightly so.
And then you hear his mom call for him, and he's like, and then you never hear from him again.
Yeah, right?
So he goes and finds Riku, and Riku's like, the door's been opened, and fucking vanishes.
And Riku's doing some spooky shit, and he's like standing in the ocean, and he like reaches his hand out, and then like a wave crests behind him, but then he's gone, and Sora's like, what is my life even anymore?
Where are your parents, kids?
Yeah.
And then he gets his own Keyblade, which is the first time he's done it.
Yeah,
outside
like
of
a bunch
Dark.
of Heartless show up, and he hears the spooky disembodied voice of Ventus inside him, and Ventus teaches him to call for the Keyblade.
It's important to note that like 99% of the game is voiced, except for Ventus's dialogue,
Yeah.
which is just on screen.
Like anytime someone is talking, you can hear their voice, except for when Ventus is talking to Sora. And when
anyway,
Sora is talking to Ventus.
Sora gets a Keyblade, he fights a big stupid Heartless, and then Destiny Islands basically blows up.
Yeah,
it gets swallowed
it gets
by the
eaten
darkness.
by the darkness. And Sora, for some reason, wakes up in Traverse Town, which is another world.
Which has Final Fantasy characters.
So let's segue for a moment. Let's talk about worlds.
So the worlds in Kingdom Hearts are Traverse Town, which are an original
Well,
world.
no, let's talk about worlds in general for
Okay.
a moment, because when we talk about a world, it's not necessarily literally a planet, but
it's a realm.
it might as well be a planet. The scale to which they exist is not necessarily clear. Bottom line is they're not connected. You can't just walk from Disney Castle to Radiant Garden to Traverse Town to, Hollow Bastion to Destiny Islands. There's no actual way to get from one to the other, except for these weird things called gummy ships, which can...
They're not made of gummy.
They're not actually made of gummy.
Like everything exists in like space, but like everything is separated by like a bubble, and you can fly to the bubble and enter it.
Yeah, it's... So, for all intents and purposes, I guess they might as well be planets, but that's not exactly...
Planet, but also a dimension.
It's like fucking Mario Galaxies.
Yeah, they're not big either. Like, everything that happens in a given world is fairly small. Like, Riku acknowledges that Destiny Islands is very, very small and very limited and wants to see more, so he builds a raft to leave. But, like, there's nothing beyond the ocean in Destiny Islands because the islands is all that's there. They just don't know that. So
will they just like fall off the
I don't know, it's never really made clear. But worlds also have hearts, just like people. So the hearts of the worlds are all closed off from one another. The heart's literally a door that has a keyhole. And what has happened, Ansem opened all of the doors to all of the hearts, and he's connected them all. So now all the worlds are connected.
So that's why Sora ends up in Traverse Town.
Yeah.
When his
He falls through the door to Destiny Island's heart and wakes up in a different world. He wakes up in Traverse Town. And Traverse Town is essentially the world where shit that doesn't have a place to go ends up. Namely because it's populated by characters who canonically belong in a place called Radiant Garden, but also Pinocchio and Geppetto.
And some Disney characters like Huey, Dewey, and Louie.
No, they live in Radiant Garden with Scrooge.
But Huey, Dewey, and Louie have their shop in this
Yes,
Traverse Town.
yes, but again, along with all the Final Fantasy characters, they
Yeah.
also canonically live in Radiant Garden.
So Sora gets there, and he's like, "Oh my God, my island is gone. What do? I need to find Riku and Kairi." And at the same time, he runs into Donald and Goofy,
Who are looking for a mysterious key.
who are looking for a key, and Sora has the Keyblade. And then Sora's like, "Oh fuck! Like I need to find my friends." And then Donald and Goofy are like, "Well, you have the Keyblade, which can lock all the worlds. Surely, if we go traveling, we will run into your friends."
Yeah, like, Donald... Okay, so...
Donald's completely disingenuous about
So
this.
most of the plot of Kingdom Hearts 1 actually really boils down to Donald Duck has a hidden agenda and lies to Sora. Donald Duck knows that he needs to find a key to lock the world's hearts. That's all Mickey told him. So he finds this little boy with a key and he's like, I need this fucking boy. I need him to help me do my fucking job and I can't do it without him. So I'm gonna fucking lie to him. So Donald just like starts lying and Goofy's too stupid to realize it and just follows the lead and they're like, yeah, if we go to all these different worlds, I'm sure we'll eventually find your friends. And Sora's like, really? Do you mean it? And Donald's like, yes, I absolutely mean that. Totally. And he turns to Goofy and he's like,
Don't.
this is our only fucking chance. Don't screw this up, Goofy. Don't screw this up. So they just fucking take this kid into their fucking Lego spaceship and start flying around.
So, the worlds they visit in Kingdom Hearts 1, Traverse Town, Wonderland, which is Alice in Wonderland, Olympus Coliseum, which is Hercules, but also not. It's just a tournament level.
It's
It's a gauntlet.
it's literally just like 2 rooms.
And then there's also Deep Jungle, which is Disney's Tarzan, Agrabah,
Which is Aladdin.
100 Acre Wood, which is a book that's an optional minigame.
Yeah, the Winnie the Pooh world is 100 Acre Woods, but it exists within a book. So that's why when worlds get confusing, because the 100 Acre Woods is a full, complete world, but it only exists in this one book. And the pages have all been torn out, so like you find the pages all over, and when you like return them, more of the 100 Acre Woods becomes available.
And then there's also Atlantica,
Which is the Disney's Little Mermaid.
Halloween Town,
Nightmare Before Christmas.
and Neverland. That's the relevant story worlds for now. There are
No,
more, but
there's-
I will get into them.
Okay.
when they become relevant. So when
There's
Sora
two more.
when Sora travels to a world that doesn't suit him, like Atlantica's an ocean world, he becomes a creature from the world. So he becomes like a merd dolphin boy in Atlantica, and when he goes to Halloween Town, he becomes a Halloween boy. So that's kind of fun.
It's like if he doesn't belong in that world, he becomes disguised to belong. So like in Olympus Coliseum, like humans are a thing there, so he stays himself. In Wonderland, there are people, so he stays as like a person. But there are no normal people in Halloween Town, so he becomes like a
monster.
a spooky monster boy. And, you know, everyone's fish people in Atlantica, so he becomes a fish boy.
And that's actually Donald's magic expert because he's so good at his magic. Rah.
So they travel
God
around,
damn it.
but at the same time, Riku and Kairi is in like a similar coma state to Ventus, and Riku is okay, but he runs into Maleficent, as in the bad guy from Sleeping Beauty.
Also, she's great.
She's great, and I love her, and she sees potential in him, I guess, and she's like,
Hello, boy.
She's like,
Do the
Riku.
darkness.
yeah, she's like, you should turn to the dark side to help your friend Kairi, and Riku's like, sure,
Like, okay, so Maleficent straight up has Kyrie's, like, comatose body for some reason. She's
Yeah.
just, like, got her, she's just got her there. And, like, Riku's like, that's my friend. And Maleficent's like, oh, if you do dark things in dark, you can save her. And Riku's like, Deal.
a good idea.
Done. Sure.
So while you're traveling through space, and actually where Sora has an argument over Donald, where he's like, I want to find my friends, and Donald's like, we're doing more important things. Monstro, the whale from Pinocchio, just comes and fucking eats them.
No, literally, you're flying your spaceship, and the whale swims out of space and swallows you.
And then inside there, Sora finds Geppetto.
And Geppetto also had a shop on... No. Pinocchio had a shop. Did Geppetto or Pinocchio have the shop on
Geppetto.
Traverse Town? Okay, so Geppetto had a shop on Traverse Town. And you meet him there, and he's like, oh, I'm looking for my wooden son.
No, he's in Monstro.
Yeah, he's
So
in
then
Monstro.
what's in Traverse Town at the beginning?
Nothing. It's a fucking blank space.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, never mind.
He is historic in BBS though. He is actually in fucking Reading Garden though.
But anyway, you go into Monstro and you see Pinocchio and Geppetto and stuff, but you also see Riku, which is the most important thing. Riku's hanging out with Pinocchio, and he's like, oh, Sora, I'm hanging out with Pinocchio because ever since you got your Keyblade and your new friends, you haven't been able to hang out with me because you're saving the world. And Sora's like,
Sora's like, that's a bit of a dick punch, bro. What's going on?
And that's when Riku, like, fully turns into the dark side.
Yeah, he starts using the darkness within his own heart, and Maleficent gives him this, like, cool dark bodysuit and this cool dark fin sword. And,
Called the Soul Eater.
and while he's doing all this dark shit, Ansem kind of creeps up and fucking possesses him.
So after they get on a Monstro, they go to Never Never Land, and there, Sora kind of confronts Riku, but not really. Stuff like he sees Kairi, but she's like, oh no, she's in a coma.
Riku's literally like, while you were all spending time fucking around with your friends, I found Kairi, and guess what? I'm gonna go save her. He's like, ah!
Yeah, pretty much exactly like that.
So then they go to Hollow Bastion, which is the Beast Castle from Beauty and the Beast, but also not.
But not actually, because the Beast Castle is a real place in the next game. Hollow Bastion is what was once Radiant Garden, which is where Ansem the Wise lived, but you don't figure this out until much later. So Hollow Bastion, there's a fuckload of really strong Heartless all over the place. And the Beast is there because he's looking for his fucking girlfriend.
So when you get there, though, Riku punts the crap out of Sora and takes the Keyblade.
He's literally like, the fuck? He's like, hey, guess what? That Keyblade is actually mine, and it has been the entire time. Thanks for bringing it. Bye.
And he just, like, holds out his hand, and it just, like, teleports into his hand, and he fucks off.
And then Goofy and Donald leave with Riku.
Yeah, they're like, well, he's got the key. Guess we're following him, and they just fucking abandon you.
So then Sora teams up with the Beast, because the Beast knows what's up.
And literally they say, like, it's like, why the hell's the Beast, or like fucking Maleficent and someone else are like, why is that monster here? It's like, oh, he was so pissed off he managed to transcend the worlds and follow Belle here.
Because their hearts are connected.
So you go through Hollow Bastion, you find Ansem's plan, which he's kidnapped 7 princesses of heart.
Which are important, but in
Not
like
important.
a MacGuffin-y way. Like,
So-
there's these 7 princesses of heart, and together their hearts are strong enough to summon Kingdom Hearts or something.
And there are Disney princesses and Kairi. So they're like Snow White, Sleeping Beauty, Belle, Jasmine, Cinderella, Alice, and Kairi, I believe. So while they're there, Riku is fully possessed by Ansem now, and he's like, I'm gonna open Kingdom Hearts, and I have to do that by taking Kairi's heart, but her heart isn't here. That's so weird. And then Sora confronts him, and there's this infamous cutscene that people have seen 40,000 times.
Because it precedes the boss fight with Riku, which is really hard, and in the original cut of the game, it was unskippable.
So it ends with Riku being like, I'm taking Kairi's heart, and then Sora's like,
You're never taking Kairi's heart!
and you get into a fight with him, and then Sora wins and gets the Keyblade back.
No, Sora, like, fucking pulls the Keyblade, like, back from Riku because, spoiler alert, Riku doesn't know what the fuck a Keyblade is. So he just, like, pulls it back from him, and Riku uses his weird, cool fin sword, and they get into a really hard boss fight. And, yeah.
So it ends...
Unless you're, like, 11 years old, in which case you get your ass kicked, like 15
12,000
times.
True story.
For everyone who played Kingdom Hearts,
That
when
fight
it
is
was
impossible
released.
if you're a kid until you fucking memorize the patterns.
Yeah. I did that so many times when I first got that game.
You ain't never taken Kyrie's heart.
There's no way you're taking Kyrie's heart.
So Riku's like, oh fuck, and he fucks off. And then Sora realizes, he's like, Kyrie's here, but her heart isn't here.
And then he remembers that fucking time that, like, she fell into him in that room in the beginning. And he's like, oh, wait, her heart's inside me. So he fucking falls on his Keyblade.
And releases her heart, but also his heart.
So,
Dun, 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 dun.
so, small aside here, what they've been doing, going to every world, they haven't just been searching for Riku and shit. When they go to a world, they lock its heart. They find the heart of the world and they lock it so that the darkness can't go between the worlds. So, like, Heartless are creeping through the paths between the worlds, and that's how they're getting to all these different worlds.
Well, no. The reason they lock, because you said Anthem opens all the
The
locks.
doors. Yeah.
Yeah, he opens all the doors, but the point is so that eventually the Heartless will find their way into the lock and actually steal the heart of the world.
Oh,
to help
okay.
heal Kingdom Hearts, and that's where you lock them.
Okay.
So then the world doesn't disappear.
So you lock the hearts of the worlds, and so that's how Sora realizes that the Keyblade can control hearts and stuff. So he uses the Keyblade to unlock his own heart to release Kyrie's heart.
So he becomes a heartless.
Yeah, so he straight up accidentally removes his own heart.
He doesn't accidentally, he
Well,
deliberately.
I mean, he didn't quite realize what was happening there. But, like, he releases Kyrie's heart, which goes right back into Kyrie's body. But since he kind of, like, had to physically shove a large shard of metal through his own body to surgically remove his own heart, his heart doesn't have anywhere to go. So it turns into a Heartless.
But Kyrie's heart goes back to her body because it's right there. You spend a little time as a Heartless, and then Kyrie...
You get to shuffle around like a...
Yeah, you're like
but
a
then
running
Kyrie's like, hey, that little tiny monster's familiar. Oh, it's Sora, and she hugs it, and he turns back.
Not even. It's like you literally have to find your way back through the castle, like, thankfully without encounters.
No, like, Donald literally, like, sees the Heartless and he's like, ew, a bug, and like fucking golfs, he fucking golf swings you off the top of the castle, and you have to scuttle your way back up until Kyrie's like, oh wait, that's actually Sora.
So she fixes Sora.
She notices that it's not an attacking Heartless.
Now, small aside here, let's discuss something that doesn't necessarily make a lot of sense to me. Xehanort removes his own heart and becomes Xemnas and Ansem, and Ansem at one point turns into an actual fucking Gurren Lagann-sized battleship.
Wait, you're getting your...
No, I am, yes. But Ansem, the Heartless, becomes an actual fucking battleship. Because his heart is that powerful, apparently. But Sora removes his heart, and he becomes the shittiest little scuttling pile of garbage. Sora, the kid who actually, with his literal bare hands, dismantles that battleship, is less powerful than Ansem.
Well, it's implied that Sora's a fucking weenie. Like, without literally all of his power is from the Keyblade.
I mean, okay, fair.
And I think
Anyway.
it's like...
So,
It comes out later that Sora's actually not special in any way.
so Ansem reaches a place called the End of the World, which is that.
really
It's
good.
it's where all the hearts are connected.
Yeah. So you go there, it doesn't make sense, and like you said, Ansem turns into a Gurren Lagann battleship.
No.
After you fight him on the beach.
You missed a small important step.
What?
Kyrie finds this heartless Sora and hugs him, and he turns back into Sora.
And then they're like, oh, we have to go stop Ansem.
Now, there's some stuff that won't make sense about this in a little while. Since we're doing this chronologically, actually, we should take a brief segue. Remember when I said that when a heart gets removed, you get a heartless and a nobody? Well, Sora removed his own heart and became a heartless. So, it also created a nobody. So Sora's nobody wakes up in this place called Twilight Town. And there, it meets this dude in a black cloak who's like, hey, we're gonna do some cool stuff now. You're gonna be one of my friends. Have a name. And gives him this name, Roxas.
Because his name is Sora.
With an X in it. So, Roxas is Sora's nobody, and he looks exactly like Ventus, and he is voiced by Jesse McCartney, except he's like 10 times more useful
And his
than
hair-
Ventus ever
And
was.
his hair is like mirrored, I guess. Like Ventus has his hair one way and Roxas has it another way.
Yeah.
But
Bottom line is, Roxas...
that happens.
Sora creates a nobody, which is then picked up by Xemnas.
So that happens. But then Sora's like, I have to go stop Ansem, Billy Zane. So he goes to the end of the world, and he fights Billy Zane, who's possessed Riku.
So you fight, like, fucking Chernobog, the giant demon from Fantasia, for some reason.
Out of nowhere.
It's not, like, even implied that he's a Heartless. He's just there.
He's just there.
Fuck you.
Because they really like Fantasia.
Then you go to a ruined Destiny Islands, and you fight Ansem on a beach. And he has, like, this guardian thing that flies around him.
And his design is super cool. Like,
And-
he is a Heartless, but you don't necessarily know that yet. And he's got this, like, giant Heartless that stands behind him. And they,
his
like,
arms
both...
folded.
They both have their arms folded, and it's really cool, except when you try to attack him, the dark one, like, teleports in front to block the hit.
I'm lying.
And it's a really cool fight.
So-
And,
Fighting
yeah.
a JoJo character.
It's a lot like fighting a JoJo character, yes.
So then when you beat him, he turns into a battleship, as you mentioned.
Oh my god, his stand would be the darkness. Oh my god, that's too cool.
So he turns into a giant battleship, and Sora and Donald and Goofy fight him in a battleship, and he's like, oh, I've reached Kingdom Hearts because I used the princesses to, like, bring
Yeah.
me here at the end of the world. And Kingdom Hearts is a door?
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Like,
And
Kingdom
then-
Hearts is a door between the realm of light and the realm of darkness.
So then Ansem is like, I'm gonna open the door and get, like, infinite darkness, which is, like, the coolest thing.
And you actually get like a shot of into it, and it looks like just like a weird like black and white like tumory thing.
We're gonna take a pause here,
Yeah,
and
small pause.
we're gonna go back to Kingdom Hearts 10 words, which
2.8 BPS, a fragmentary passage, because at the same time, on
Mickey
the
Mouse
other-
is in the realm of darkness with Aqua, and they're hanging out. And Aqua keeps seeing ghosts of her friends, Ventus and Terra.
And Tara's like, I messed up, I'm Xehanort.
Yeah,
and,
and Ventus won't talk. Like, Terra can see Aqua, and they have some conversations, but, like, Aqua's like, and Ventus is here too, and Terra's like, I can't see him. I can't even see you, I can just hear you.
but then Aqua gets lost, and Mickey Mouse finds her, and then she's like, what are you doing here, King Mickey Mouse? And he's like, I'm finding the Kingdom Key, Darkness.
Yeah, because there's a Keyblade, there's a bunch of Keyblades in the world of light, but there's a Keyblade that is unique to the world of darkness, and Yensid told him to go find it.
So he finds it, and then they also find, like, Mickey's like, there's a boy here named Riku, and he knows he's made a grave mistake, but he wants to fix it.
And his friend named Sora is going to help us with this.
So,
I don't really know why he knows that.
I don't know. Mickey's the-
Yensid fucking tells him all of this before they send him in there. I'm assuming it has something to do with that magic fucking see the future book. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yensid just seems to know shit for no reason.
So, on the other side of the door, Sora is fighting Ansem, who has opened the door, and at the very same time, Riku is almost attacked by Heartless, but Aqua fights the Heartless and basically gets her, like, not her ass kicked, but she, like, gets thrown very deep into the realm of darkness.
Bottom line is, Riku doesn't know any of this is happening, and in fact, neither do you until, like, a couple years ago.
But Riku's on the door. Riku, Mickey, and Aqua, who Aqua gets banished, basically, are in the doors in Ingress in Kingdom Hearts, and then when Ansem opens it, you look inside and you see Mickey and Riku, and then Sora's like, well, we gotta close the door, and Riku's like, well, I'll help you from the other side.
You see through the door, and Mickey's standing on this, like, pile of weird dark stuff, and he pulls out a gold Keyblade, and he's like, let's close this door! And Riku starts fucking physically shoving the door from the inside.
But he's pulling on the door because, again, it's closing in Ingress, like, it's to Riku's side, because
Yeah, he's gotta pull the door.
he's
Oh,
gotta
okay.
pull the door closed.
But that's the funniest part, because like you're playing this fucking JRPG, and all of a sudden Mickey's like, "Now, Sora, let's close this door for good."
Yeah, like Mickey Mouse himself literally fucking jumps out of the darkness and pulls
I'd
out
like
a
to
gold
mention
Keyblade.
that if it's the first time you've ever played Kingdom Hearts, that is the first time you see Mickey
Yeah,
Mouse.
and it's really fucking confusing.
Also, he's in this like classic outfit, like
He's
the
just
black,
in
like,
the red
like
shorts.
the red shorts. But like later on, he has like a full on fucking.
Well, every other time you see him, he's wearing a different outfit. Like, when you see him in Kingdom Hearts 2, he's wearing, like, one of the edgy, like, black organization coats, which is actually kind of important. We'll get to that
But
later,
anyway,
though.
the door's closed. Riku and Mickey are in the dark side. Sora and Donald and Goofy are at the end of the world. So Sora's like, I have to go find Riku in the dark world, but he gets lost. And this is where Kingdom Hearts ends. Kingdom Hearts 1 ends, and thus begins Chain of Memories. So, Chain of Memories, Sora finds Castle Oblivion, which is the place that Aqua made. And inside is, when you go inside Castle Oblivion, you immediately forget your memories.
Well,
Weirdly.
No, it's not immediately. It's every time. The further you go into Castle Oblivion, the more memories you lose.
So they go inside, and originally, there's a nobody that was created when Sora stabbed himself, and when Kairi was without her heart. A nobody named Naminé was created.
Naminé,
She's a witch or something.
The only part of this game that I actually can't understand, having gone through all these notes and all this shit, is Naminé. Naminé doesn't make sense.
So Naminé exists in Castle Oblivion, and she is
No, not necessarily. Naminé is presently in Castle Oblivion. Naminé was created and was taken by the organization. And I'm assuming because Kairi is a Princess of Heart, and because her heart is inexorably tied to Sora's, Naminé has the ability to rewrite Sora's heart.
Yes. So Organization 13 is like, hey Naminé, you should like brainwash Sora because we want him to slay Heartless for us to power Kingdom Hearts.
Also, small aside, Organization 13 is what Xemnas' fucking group of boy band members with edgy black coats calls themselves.
So, at first, Naminé's like, this is a great idea, because she starts removing memories of Kairi and inserting herself, and she does this because she wants to know what it feels like to, like, be loved and, like, have friendship and stuff. But
which is kind of paradoxical, because she can't actually feel anything,
she
but I guess she doesn't realize that.
But then she's like, well, this is wrong, it's not right doing this. But at the same time, Castle Oblivion is being run by 5 members, I believe, of Organization 13. Oh, wait.
Hey, I have a question that literally no one can answer.
What?
Challenge accepted.
When Terra Xehanort lost his heart, Xemnas looks pretty much exactly like him.
Yeah.
When Lee lost his heart, Axel looks pretty much exactly like him, but he's got some gay prison tattoos on his face. When Issa lost his heart, he looked pretty much exactly like Saix, except Saix has the edgy scars on his face. Why does Naminé look fucking almost nothing like Kairi?
She has like the same facial.
She has the same
facial structure.
Roughly.
But
Yeah.
same. Almost same.
Not really.
No.
But anyway, some members of Organization 13 control Castle Oblivion, most notably Marluxia, who's like, this is my house now.
Who's probably one of the coolest villains in the series.
They are actually rebels against. They are a splinter group of Organization 13.
Yeah, and it's
They were sent there.
It's Marluxia, Zexion, Lexius, and Larzine.
And Axel.
Technically. Yeah.
And not Axel.
Kinda.
No, Axel.
Kinda.
Axel was sent with... Okay, so originally, these guys were all sent to Castle Oblivion, and Xemnas is like, hey, go take Castle Oblivion, use Naminé, and make Sora dumb so we can use him to do cool things. And Marluxia's like, yeah, that's a great fucking idea. I'm gonna go do exactly that. And sends them all off, and they go to do their own thing. And Xemnas is like, oh, and take Axel too. And Axel goes, and he's like, well, time to go do some Quentin Flynn things behind the scenes.
Yeah, and the entire game, you find out Marluxia is actually acting against Xemnas' wishes.
Yeah, he's essentially trying to weaponize Sora for his own purposes.
But anyway, Naminé turncoats on all of them, and she's like, I gotta unfuck this kid after the... Like, Sora goes through his own memories, which is like, you just play Kingdom Hearts 1 again, but a card game.
But it's like a card game, and it's
so
fun enough.
But she's like, shit, I've like fucked this guy's memories all up. I gotta unfuck him. So she traps him, Goofy, and Donald in pods, and she's like, I'm gonna unfuck him, but it'll take me a year.
Well, I mean, that's a vast oversimplification of what
Yes.
happens, but essentially, you go through, Naminé removes all your memories, and okay, so she doesn't just erase his memories, she erases the memories in his heart, which means that all of the hearts that Sora has touched also lose their memories of Sora.
Yeah.
So, example, in Kingdom Hearts 1, you meet a character named Leon, who is actually literally Squall from Final Fantasy VIII, and you become bros with him. And you meet him in Castle Oblivion, but it's not him, it's your memory of him. And Naminé fucking erases him. You lose your memory of ever having met Leon. Met. Of ever having met Leon. And subsequently, in Hollow Bastion, where Leon is hanging out right now, he loses his memories of you because your hearts are no longer sharing that threat.
So, Nominee's like, I gotta unfuck this.
Yeah, because, oh my god, actually the universe is at stake.
She starts the process of this, and she's helped by Diz.
Yeah, Diz, like, kind of helps her put Sora in this pod, and he's like, yo, time to unfuck this boy.
At the same time, Riku is in the world of darkness, and he goes to Castle Oblivion and kills everyone.
Well, he's in the realm of darkness, and he's, like, trapped in the darkness, and he figures out the only way to move through it is to use the darkness in his own heart.
But that doesn't... He becomes a copy of Ansem on and off.
No, he looks into his own heart, and he sees the darkness within him is Ansem, because Ansem was literally in his heart. And Ansem was a Heartless, so he has the ability to move through the realm of darkness, which, as you recall, that's a super rare ability. So he embraces that, and he, like, on and off becomes Ansem. So, like, literally, you play as the final boss of the first game, which is kind of cool. So he can move now back and forth through the realm of darkness, and he follows Sora to Castle Oblivion, and he sees these dudes, you know, fronting with his bro. So he starts murdering them. Well, actually, I mean, he kills a couple of them.
He kills a couple
of them. They build a replica of him. Like, Marluxia builds a replica of Riku because, like, he's super powerful with the dark. But that becomes fucked up and corrupted, and it kills a couple of them. And Axel is actually a double agent for Xemnas. So Marluxia's like, hey, Axel, go Quentin Flynn them for a bit. And so Axel kills a couple of them as well.
So
it's really gruesome.
Yeah,
too.
like, a lot of characters just get fucking killed in really brutal ways.
So that happens. And then, concurrently, a game called Kingdom Hearts 358/2 happens. 358/2, Roxas, who is Sora's nobody, becomes a part of Organization 13, and they really want to take over Kingdom Hearts because they want
their hearts back.
Yeah.
Their plan is essentially, guys, we fucked up. Not having a heart really sucks. What if we could open the door that has all of the hearts behind it and get them back?
And I guess this happens, like, right as Sora loses his heart in the first game.
So this has happened concurrently with Chain of Memories.
With Kingdom Hearts 1 and Chain of Memories. Like,
so,
it starts with Roxas waking up, and he's essentially, like, lobotomized. He has no personality, he has no emotions, he has no memories, and he's just kind of, like, wandering around doing whatever he's told. And then he meets Axel, and him and Axel become friends, and they eat ice cream together.
And they hang out at a place called Twilight Town. And there, Roxas sees 3 children named Hayner, Pence, and Alette. And he's like, oh, I wish I could be a normal boy and, like, hang out with them.
And have, like, cool friends like them.
But I don't have emotions, so I won't.
And Axel's like, well, we could be friends. Friends eat ice cream, so we'll eat ice cream together. And they eat ice cream.
And then Organization...
The internet loves them.
I love them.
So the Organization 13 is like, well, what if this whole Roxas thing doesn't work out because they want Roxas to fight Heartless and to fuel Kingdom Hearts? They're like, well, what if he doesn't work out?
Well, all right, let's discuss their plan for a moment. They have Roxas because Roxas can use the Keyblade, because Sora can use the Keyblade, because Ventus can use the Keyblade. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to create a synthetic Kingdom Hearts, because Kingdom Hearts is locked now. So they need to create a different Kingdom Hearts. And the way they're going to do that is by just gathering hearts. And the best way to get hearts is to have someone with a Keyblade kill a Heartless. Because when you kill a Heartless, the heart comes out.
Yeah.
And it goes back to Kingdom Hearts. But since Kingdom Hearts is locked, it has nowhere to go. So they create a fake space for it to go to make their own Kingdom Hearts. And behind it, inevitably, their hearts will be there. So Xemnas and Saix are like, hey, what if this Roxas thing doesn't pan out because He's a bit of a goody-two-shoes pile of crap. Well, let's clone him.
And they make an imperfect clone of Roxas they call Xion. Xion.
Xion.
And she looks like Kyrie for the most part.
Her appearance is weird.
So Xion and Roxas both have Sora's memories inside of them. But Xion's appearance changes depending on how much of Sora's memories she has. Which is weird because, like, for the first half of the game, she just doesn't have a face. She just looks like a hooded person.
Yeah.
Her name is an anagram for no eye.
Actually, it's because Shio means remember me in Japanese. Sit the fuck down.
Okay.
You're both dumb.
Actually, I think Shio means tide. Sorry.
See, you are dumb. Anyways.
Anyway, name Japanese nomenclature aside.
Bottom line is Xion, Roxas, and Axel become BFFs and eat ice cream together all the time. And Xemnas is like, if they eat all that ice cream, they're going to get fat, and then they can't fight Heartless for us.
But then Xion gets increasingly irritated by not knowing what Organization 13 is up to, but she realizes that as long as she and Roxas exist, Sora will not exist, but especially if she exists...
Her and Roxas are essentially fighting for control of Sora's heart. Like, they both have Sora's memories sleeping inside them, but Xion is, like, pulling them out of Roxas.
Yeah. But they can't exist at the same time.
Yeah, like, there's a critical point beyond which they both can't exist, and she's like, but Roxas is cool, and I don't want him to stop existing, so she tricks Roxas into killing her.
By taking on Sora's appearance. Look at the name trivia, I'm not wrong.
No, it says there.
See?
God damn it.
No,
Anyway.
I looked at it, I was like, it is revealed within the secret reports that Xion's original name was number I. The I is a reference to imaginary numbers.
Whatever.
That's retarded. Anyways.
So she takes on Sora's appearance, Roxas gets mad and kills her. But she dies, so he gets all of Sora's memories back, so he won't disappear. That's 352 over 8.
And it's very sad because just as she's starting to fade away, she's like, "You don't even remember me," and he's literally like crying. He's like,
I don't.
"Who are you? Who are you?" And then she never existed, and I guess was utterly pointless.
Also, Axel gets reassigned to go to Castle Oblivion about halfway through this game, and they're all like, Axel, go kill all of these fucking traitors. And Axel's like, I gotta go do some icky stuff. Literally his own words. He always refers to it as icky. Anyways.
So at this time, this non-chronologically, a movie called Another Side, Another Story happens where Roxas is all pissed because his friend is dead. And he runs into Riku, who is wearing a coat and a blindfold. And then he's like, fight me, Riku, because I'm mad. And Riku's like, I need to take you to go find Sora because, like...
Yeah, like, Riku knows who he is.
And then...
So Riku, like, picks a fight with him, and he's like,
Roxas
you're coming with me.
kicks his ass.
Yeah,
he fucking pulls out the double keyblades.
Because Ventus could use 2 keyblades. Which... Why could Vent use 2 keyblades?
Well, it wasn't Vent. No, Vent couldn't.
Yes,
Vent.
when Vent turned into his fucking green, like, armor form, he used 2 keyblades. That was his thing.
Oh, yeah.
Terra was super jacked. Aqua used fucking infinite magic, but Vent used 2 keyblades.
We don't know why.
We don't know why.
Maybe
but
that was his special quirk.
But, like, he had the Oathkeeper and the Oblivion, which were given to him by Terra and Aqua.
Yep.
And that was, like, his cool thing. And, bottom line,
Anyway.
Riku gave Sora the Oblivion, and Kairi gave Sora the Oathkeeper.
So anyways,
Anyways.
Riku picks a fight with Roxas, loses. But then Riku's like, I have to open up the heart, like the darkness of my heart permanently, and takes on the appearance of Ansem Billy Zane.
So he becomes Ansem, but with Riku's heart.
But he has like the fucking floating thing behind him. Still,
Yeah,
he's
so
like,
he's straight up just 100%
then he
the
beats
final
the
boss.
piss out of Roxas and makes him unconscious and takes him to Diz.
And meanwhile, the organization's just like, fuck, oh my god, literally everything we have tried has been ruined so far.
Well, we're
So-
13's down to 6 now.
Yeah.
So that's when Kingdom Hearts
2.
2 begins.
Yeah, it begins with Roxas getting taken by Riku.